am I good, or is there anything I'm missing by not having regular cooked beans, regular whole grains, broccoli, kale, dandelion, radish in the supermarket, fruits? Like, is this completely covering me nutritionally, or there's certain things still missing from my all sprout seeds and beans diet?
Yeah, I mean the two things that I hear that are missing or that you need to be sensitive to are number one, B12. So nothing that you mentioned had any B12 in it, right? Because there's no fortification of those seeds and those sprouts. Number two, um, I didn't hear anything about vitamin D. So you can get vitamin D from, white mushrooms and the sun, or supplementation, but I didn't hear anything about vitamin D, D2 or D3 in there. And then the third, I didn't hear chia and flax in there, and I didn't hear anything about sea vegetables. So the chia and flax, will have ALA, medium chain omega-3 fatty acids in them. And the seaweed, in particular, nori and wakame, will have EPA and DHA. So if you're very efficient and you're eating a clean diet and you're eating ample quantities of the chia and flax, the body will convert the ALA into EPA and DHA, so you'll be complete. But those are the three things that I think you need to be sensitive of, on the sprout diet. Now, for me, being in the desert, I would supplement vitamin B12. I would make sure I get a lot of sun, and I'm eating sea vegetables along with my sprouts for my omega-3s.
So are you're recommending we sprout our greens, our seeds to become greens. Are you also recommending that we sprout our chia, flax, hemp, pumpkin, poppy, sunflower, sesame seeds that we buy raw?
Yeah, I think that any seed that you're consuming should be germinated and sprouted before consuming. That the seed coat of a seed is nature's preservative. And as I wrote in the sprout book, there are seeds that are 1,200 years old that will still germinate. And the process of soaking the seed is reducing and removing the enzyme inhibitors, the phytic acid, and the lectins, and triggering a metabolic shift in that seed to tell it to start to germinate and sprout. And by doing that, you're making it much more bioavailable. Like, it's possible if you just eat those seeds, other ones unsprouted, that they're just going to brick in your stomach and come out of your colon undigested without you getting the benefit. So you'll have a very expensive ride without getting a lot of nutritive benefits from it.
And what about the same question? Should we sprout our nuts, meaning almonds, filberts, walnuts, pecans, Brazil nuts, cashews, macadamians?
Yeah. So all nuts are seeds, but not all seeds are nuts. And all nuts and seeds should be sprouted.
So you're saying crack open a macadamia nut, a Brazil nut, or get it raw, and then first soak it in water and don't just eat it. It should be
100, yeah, I would definitely soak it overnight, rinse it a couple times. And if you like the crunchy feeling of it, you can get a dehydrator and then dehydrate them at 115 degrees or less, and you'll actually get a very crunchy textured, enzymatically active live nut.
okay. And then going further, should we, you're saying we should take a garbanzo bean and sprout it, a lentil, sprout it and eat it. Even if we were gonna cook it, we should sprout it first. In terms of whole grains such as quinoa, millet, amaranth, buckwheat, teff, wild rice, should we, are these items that we should also sprout and then eat?
100%. 100%.
And is that part of a diet you recommend? That quinoa, millet, amaranth, teff, buckwheat, wild rice, possibly even wheat, barley, and oats be soaked, sprouted, and then eaten raw?
I think everything that you said there could be sprouted and eaten raw. They're less common in the raw world because they don't react the way the familiar sprouts would be, like alfalfa sprouts with the long tail. And the broccoli, the buckwheat sprouts, you want to consume, within the first few days before they start to turn green. So there's other things. There's a lot of nuance in the sprouting, but in general, the process, and you'll see this now. It's interesting how a lot of the food companies, since the Sprout book came out, sprouting has been trending. So you're going to see sprouted bread, sprouted cereals, sprouted crackers, and all the like. And they're generally better than traditionally non-sprouted equivalents.
Now, if someone says, I'm not going to do anything that you're saying, however, I'm going to just eat cooked beans and cooked grains, I'm not doing any of this. To those people, would you say at least soak your beans and grains overnight before you cook them the next day?
Definitely. Definitely. I'd use organic. And, if you think about the things, the sprouting seeds and the sprouted legumes are just like the premium ones that are enzymatically active and fresher. And one thing that, one of the reasons why I started the sprouting company was because I was buying seeds all over the place. And I would send them out to labs to be tested. And some of them, might have 50% germination rate. And I wanted to make sure that all my seeds were high germination rate because I didn't want to eat things that were just not germinating, dead, and decaying. I wanted things that were sprouting. So I went through a process and I said, okay, all the seeds are going to, be 85% higher germination rate. All of the seeds we started with were USDA certified organic and non-GMO. And then all of the seeds would go through a batch testing process where you take a scoop of the seeds, soak them, sprout them, and save the wastewater and send it off to a lab to be tested for pathogens. And that was a whole different area where people just never even thought about that. And it just made the difference to know that if what you're sprouting is actually, safe and healthy, and good for you to have, because there was a scare. I'm going to find another slide to show you, but I did some other deep research, in one of my last meetings. Was check this out, Steve. I'm going to share my screen here. Do I have, okay, here we go. So sprouts, a safe and low risk superfood. So if you look at sprouts from a safety perspective, are safer than leafy greens, safer than beef, safer than eggs, safer than chicken, and safer than raw dairy. So, part of the thing is that because there was no capital behind sprouting, no one was defending the myths and the propaganda to get people not to eat sprouts. So there was a concerted campaign to get people not to eat sprouts. And I really wanted to, dispute that. And so I went and did the research and found out, wow, the sprouts are actually really safe.
What do you say to someone who says, I'm on a strict, for a number of reasons, I'm on a strict gluten-free diet? In terms of, can they have a sprouted bean? Can they have a sprouted grain? Can they have all sprouts? Like, what does anything change from their normal diet where they avoid wheat, barley, and oats because it has gluten? Can they, if they sprout it, can they eat it raw? Can they sprout it and cook it? How does glutinous grains that is sprouted, how does that affect people who are sensitive to gluten?
So I would encourage, there's many ways to test for celiac and for gluten intolerances. And I think that gluten free has become hijacked by the marketers. But wheatgrass, right, which typically has the word wheat in it, the grass of wheatgrass does not have gluten in it. Just does not have it. So it is still in the vegetable form before it matures and develops the proteins, of formal wheat and the chaff. So I would say that clearly, if someone has celiac or they have a certified gluten intolerance, and we can go into that, a little deeper on it, they should definitely be more careful. But in general, I see it as a non-issue.
Okay. In your opinion, is broccoli sprout the king of all sprouts in terms of nutrition density, or are there other sprouts that you would recommend as equally beneficial?
So I think all sprouts are really healthy. Broccoli sprouts are the ones that have been the most researched. And there's probably 2,000 studies on broccoli sprouts alone and how they generate, they have isothiocyanates and glucosinolates in them. So they've been tested for preventing and treating cancer. They've been tested for detoxifying benzene and air pollutants from the lungs. They've been, tested for regulating insulin levels. So there's a lot of testing on them.